Hi, have you ever downloaded a file, messed around with it, only to realize that downloading it again later fixed your problem? Well, what probably happened was your file was probably corrupted while you were downloading it. Today we're going to learn a quick, easy way to verify that a file was not corrupted, and that way you can save yourself some time. First, we're going to go through how to do this, then we're going to go through a couple gotchas, and then we're going to go through why this works. So for our example on how to do this today, we're starting here with the VMware Customer Connect portal because I wanted to download VMware Workstation Player for Windows. Now, I've already downloaded the file here. It's in my Downloads folder right there. Now, for this to work, the website you're downloading from has to also provide you something that looks like this. It'll say MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, it might be one of these or it might be all three like VMware likes to do. And it'll be followed by these strings of characters. If the website gives you this, you can do what we want to do today. So, after you've downloaded the file, it's right here in your Downloads folder. Now, we're going to use a command line, and if you're not super comfortable navigating the command line, you can right-click in the Downloads folder and click Open in Terminal. The terminal will open right into your Downloads folder. And that way you can just type our command and you don't have to worry about file paths or anything complicated like that. So let's do the command. The command is CertUtil, which is short for Certificate Utilities. And we're going to do -hashfile because this operation we're doing is called a one-way hash function. And then the last thing we need to do is give it the file that we want to look at. And I can just start typing VM, and you can hit Tab, and it should fill in the rest of your file name. Now, there's one last thing we have to type, so do space, and go back to your website. Now, if your website gave you MD5, we're going to type MD5. If it gave you a SHA-1, we're going to type SHA-1, or if it says SHA-256, we're going to type SHA-256. Don't type some. Okay, let's do SHA-256. Back to our command prompt, SHA-256, press enter. Now, it's going to take a second because your computer is doing a big math calculation, because basically what it's doing is running a special formula on this file. And there it is. So it says SHA-256 hash of this file is, and it gave us this big long string of numbers and letters. And what we want to do is just compare that string to the string that was on the website. I mean, if you want to, you can look at every single character. What I usually do is I look at the first four, 64F6, 64F6, and the last four, 95CA. 95CA. Hey, our file's downloaded and we know that it's not corrupted. Okay, and that concludes the how. So that's how you verify that a file was not corrupted. Now let's talk about a couple of funny gotchas. Some websites don't just put it right here, like Fedora, for example. They put it behind this little checkbox. So sometimes there's a link that might say checksum. That's another word for what we're doing. Might say hash, or it might just say MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256. What Fedora does is you click on this check, it pops up this little window, and it wants to download a checksum file. I've already downloaded that file right here, and we want to open it with Notepad. And hey, look, SHA-256, and it gives us this big long string of characters that looks kind of familiar from our last example after the equal sign. Now, this one takes a while to run, so I already did it here in this shell. I did the hash file on that file, and we got 9904, 5D5B, and it still didn't work right. Oh, I know why. Because I didn't specify, so it probably did MD5 by default. Let's do SHA-256. Okay, now it's going to run for a second. And it's really thinking. You can see why I wanted to do this ahead of time, but that's okay. We'll keep rolling. All right, there we go. 7A44493992. And we got 93992, 7A4444. Okay, awesome. Now we know that this was also not corrupt. And we also learned something really valuable. We learned that you need to make sure that you do the right hash algorithm, because this command can do MD5, SHA-256, SHA-1, and a couple other ones that we didn't talk about. So we learned something. All right. So that concludes the gotchas. Now the last thing I want to talk about, why does this work? Basically what's happening is when you run this command, your computer is taking your file, which could be an ISO file, exe file, could be a picture, could be any file on your computer. And it's basically running it through a really complex set of mathematical algorithms, which is just a fancy word for math formulas. And we're not going to get into that today. And at the end, it spits out a string of numbers. And basically, if anything changes in your file, this string of numbers will completely change. I'll walk you through an example and we'll see what I'm talking about. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so I made an example called text document. We're going to open it up. Text document. This is a text document, period. Okay. CheckUtil -hashfile text, hit tab, text document. Let's do MD5. Enter. That went really quickly because it's a very small file, and we got this hash. Now, what's happening is on the websites, if they provide this to you, it basically means the company ran this command on their side and put this number on the website for you. And the reason this works is, let's go back into our text document. Let's make a really small change that a human might not even notice. Let's take off the period. File, save, close. Now, this file is technically different. Let's see what happens. I did an up arrow, which got my command back. We're going to run the exact same command. Now, the first time we got 76A109DC. Look, and this time we got AEBF7BA. And we also previously ended in 2770E, and now we got 1627. We got a completely different number, or completely different string of characters, and all we did was we took away one period. And then you can see that's why this is a very powerful tool, because this can tell you if any little bit changed in your file, you will get a completely different set of numbers out of this. So you can imagine there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things you can do with this. You can make sure nobody was messing with your files. You can make sure that nothing happened to any of your files. Also, another thing that's interesting to note, this algorithm is actually only done on the data itself. It doesn't actually happen to the file name. So, and then one more thing we can do is we can go here, and I'm changing the file name, but I have not changed any of the contents of the file. So we can go cert util-hash file. I had to do this command because now I have to go text document 1, MD5, enter, and look, we got the exact same hash. The AEBF7, AEBF7, 1627, 1627. Because all we did was change the file name. So this will not tell you if the file name has changed, but it will tell you if any of the contents of the file have changed. And that is one-way hash algorithms, or some people also use the word checksum. Anyways, thanks for watching my video today, and I hope you have a great day.